Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James Van Praagh.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show.
Kellee, how are you?
I'm fine. James.
What do you want to do tonight?
Let's change the world right now.
Let's do a show. It just cracks me up every time. Hi everybody. We were just with you watching it. It just cracks me up because it's like I said to Kellee, there's something in our childhood was obviously not resolved.
Truly. So much fun.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
And everyone should know you're in Wisconsin, right? You're in Wisconsin.
Okay. You want to hear a cute story? I'll tell you a very funny story.
I know where you
So
are.
my sister, I'm from Beverly Hills, everybody, California. And a year and a half ago, I moved to a farm in Wisconsin. So yesterday, my sister calls me and goes, "Guess where I am? Guess what I'm doing?" And I said, "What?" On a Sunday during COVID. And she said, "I am at Louis Vuitton and I'm buying a new pair of boots." And I said, "Me too. I got a new pair of boots. They're farm boots." And I'm winterizing my garage.
And you've never been. This is like the second winter
no.
now.
Well, let's not forget the first winter I spent mostly in LA.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first winter, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
Okay. Good. Girl.
So, yeah, I got my boots on all ready.
All right. Good. Good.
And you've been working on your garden.
I've been working on my garden. Yes. Actually all day, putting in bamboo and designing some pathways, and yeah, it's been really really fun. And I'm putting vegetable raised beds in there. So
Love
yeah,
that.
I love it.
That's
I love it. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm really feeling happy. Because politically things have changed, and I'm feeling a lightness. I'm feeling a lightness, and I feel like there's yeah, it just feels all around, and people seem to be, even though we're going through the COVID thing, it doesn't feel as bad as the first time. So
Yeah.
we'll get through it. We're gonna get through
We're
it.
going to get through this. We're definitely going to get through COVID. We're definitely going to get through it. And there's going to be a lot of change in 2021. And I think we really start to move forward around April and May.
Yeah, and I think May is an important month next year. And I think that it's interesting. The first time we had the COVID shutdown, I was telling people, go back within yourself and see what your values are and so forth.
Right.
I think in this time things are going to start working toward that. I really do. I think those values are going to be coming alive. Are going to be in use in this time. Just the sense I get.
Yeah.
So it's this exciting new way of living. In a way, it's a new way of seeing things, a new perspective, a new appreciation, new values. It's a new all around, which is a new year. So let's just hope and pray this is a fun new year and good new year. Today's topic we're going to talk about is which a lot of people are always fascinated with is, before we come back into this incarnation, what happens before we come back to the incarnation? And we come back in these families. Do we pick our families? Do we pick our friends? Do we pick our life situations and so forth? So we want to do a show today based upon that, about what happens before we come back into this world. So
James, do you have any memories of you personally being on the other side planning what you wanted to do?
no, I do not. But that being said, I've done many, what can I say, regressions, I guess you could say, in between lives with people, with groups and workshops. And in those sorts of things, I kind of go back. It brings it back to a place, whether it's it looks like an inside of I always get the inside of a library, and the cases of books go all the way up, and I never see anything above. There's no roof, there's no ceiling, and it's funny because in my meditations I'll describe it. It's really what I'm seeing. So in a way, I think I brought back, my soul is bringing me back there because it feels right. It feels real.
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm in this place of knowledge and wisdom, and walking through, and people are just talking to each other in different periods of clothing, of time period, costume, and it's all about wisdom. They're learning things, and this is a place of learning. And then we go to the guides up in the front of the room, and we have an experience with. I bring them through the guides of what they want to learn in this coming lifetime and so forth. So in some respects, yes. And when I do those meditations, I get a little bit. Have you ever had any sense of it?
I've had several, actually. I've had a sense where the libraries that you're talking about, the great halls, I've
The
seen.
Great Hall.
I've seen myself actually teaching people on the other side about what it's like to be here as a
Wow.
human. I've
Wow.
seen that many, many times, especially I had a head injury, as you know. And after my head injury, I started seeing these things. I said, I'm not a teacher. And I would see myself on the other side teaching everybody about what it's like to be here and knowing and then really seeing the kind of classes that people will start to attend before they incarnate,
Yes.
before they come in. They start to take
Yes.
classes,
Very
what it's going
much.
to be like to be here in this dimension again. Because even though we come back time after time to finish up some lesson that we're learning or something for our growth, for our consciousness, we still may have not been here for a period of time, and there've been some new things going on, and I know there are classes that teach you, all right, let me tell you about
Without
being
a doubt.
human.
Without a doubt. And also, yeah, there are classes that we take to prepare us for this incarnation.
Yes.
And whether it's the profession we're going to go
Yes.
into, or what we're going to do with our lives, or things that will happen, we learn certain ways of dealing with things, preparing. We definitely prepare and go to school and take classes, and
Mhm.
we really do, no doubt about it, 100%. And I know that me being a medium, I've taken many lifetimes learning in different positions as a missionary, as a religious order, many lives as a monk, as preparing myself to work with spirit in each lifetime, more and more and more. And of course, you have too, working
Yeah.
with people. We always do it. Look, we work each lifetime. We built upon the previous lifetime.
Hmm.
And yeah, but you do prepare to come back. It's very true, Kelly. We do. And this is interesting too. And I think you might have been at this demonstration. I'm not sure. It was in the valley, and a man came through, and it was a boy that came through, and he said he's learning guitar, and he's learned. His mother said he always wanted to play the guitar, but he had a guitar, he would never play it. And his guide came through in the room at the time, and it was that famous musician, Jim.
I
What was
was
his
there.
name?
Oh my God, I
And
was
it was,
there.
and 2 days before, I saw a documentary on his life, this musician, and then he was there, and he was a guide of this kid, and
John and I were both there for that. I remember it very well, and
very
we
famous.
met very
Sorry,
famous.
everybody, we can't
Yeah,
remember the name, but he was a very famous
yeah,
musician, and he could then I was in line. I was sitting down doing signing books, and the lady in the line said, "That's great that you brought so and so through."
yeah.
I was the 911 the operator that got that call,
Yes,
and then
yeah,
it was a weird, yeah, sorry, I can't remember his name, but it was pretty amazing that the
yeah.
guide was helping him. And there are certain things like on this earth also that we go over to the side. If we want to do things on this earth that we were unable to do, let's say we want to play the piano or learn
Mhm.
to do art or something else, we can do that on the other side. We're able to do that on the other side. We're
Yes.
able to do everything we've desired, and that's why they call it heaven. And everything I believe needs to be earned, and you've earned your way to do that. And the heaven worlds also, um, if you were overweight and you feel you want to be thin, you can be thin. If you had a birthmark, you're like, you can get rid of the birthmark. You can go back to
Yeah.
that prime of your life, usually the 30s, many
Mhm.
times or 20s, prime of life. But you get to do your greatest things you've always wanted to do. And many people can talk about visiting wonderful artists. They can visit artists. They can visit scientists. They can visit philosophers, and we can go all the way back in philosophers.
Right.
There is no time over there, and it seems that you can go into any ways, any
Mhm.
levels of study you'd like to, and it's amazing. It's so
Yeah.
hard, I think, at this human level to understand all of that, but it's like a map of all these different realms of places to go
Right.
and discover.
And then I think also what happens is when you're about ready to come in, for me, I remember this very clearly, James. It feels like a magnet was pulling me to where I needed to be so I could meet with my spirit guides and meet with my soul group. I'm sure you were there. I know
I'm
you
sure I was.
remember this. And it's a odd feeling. It feels like a
It's a
magnet,
force. It's like a
a
force.
force pulling me and going, okay, now I have to. It's ready. I have to get ready to go now. And it's a feeling that comes in. And then I remember working with guides, my guides, and my soul group, and this one's going to be my sister, this one's going to be my mom, this one's going to be my dad, and we choose all of those things, and
Yeah,
then we choose what topic do we want to study while we're here.
exactly
Well,
right.
you want to take love, and let's talk about what you and I were talking about before the show today
Yeah, I
about,
was reading
yeah,
this.
it's
I was looking it
interesting.
up a little bit, and I read this, and it said, "While we're in the spirit world, we choose our body, our family, with the guidance of spiritual guides and other wise beings. It is part of the broader lessons, karma, karma, meaning we have to learn both sides of a lesson, right? Everything we give out, we got to get back. So if you were a nasty person in one life, well, guess what? In the next lifetime, you'll receive that from somebody. And what your mission on his life. And this is interesting. If we want to learn patience, we'll not we will not ask to be surrounded by teachers of Zen Buddhists, but with people like our brothers or sisters. We have family. So if you want to learn patience, you're going to be in the opposite situation.
Yes.
So it's gonna be tough. If you want to learn about love, there's going to be a lot about that's going to push you in tough, dire
Into
circumstances to push you, to
right.
purify you, to push you to learn about the opposite of that. You should come back to it's the opposite of what you pushed into.
Right, right. And if you want to learn patience, you'll be really put with some difficult people. And if you
Yeah.
want to learn about abuse, if you want to learn about, how not to treat somebody, these are real tickets. These are real items that you come here to learn. Everybody's got a class that they have to take here, some learning that has to be done. And from there, the reason all of this occurs is to grow your consciousness. So your consciousness expands and expands and expands.
Right, it expands the knowledge, and that's
Mhm.
another one too. I love this when parents lose children. They would say, "How could God do this?" That was the plan. That all of you sat down, and guess what? This time,
Mm.
this soul's going to leave early, and you have to learn about what grief is, or learning how to
Right.
lose a child. Maybe another lifetime that soul left, and you had to learn. You left, and that soul had to learn. So it's opposite.
Yeah.
But and what I find that let's say that example of losing a child, it's really the broader experience because we'll find out most of the time. And for 40 years, I've worked with a lot of parents lost children. I
Mm.
find that most of the time, those parents who lost a child years later will help other parents who lose children. They will help. They'll write books. They'll start
Mhm.
organizations. They will help most of the time. So it's really interesting how things that situation we go through push us on. I remember when I was a
Mm.
child, I was very much. Oh, I was gosh, I didn't really have a voice. I was very quiet. I was very, very shy, kind of pushed down, and I had to be forced myself to rise up and to believe in myself. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here today. But the adverse conditions that I was in as a child, in abuse or whatever you want to call the whole situation, which it all was, and we all go through a couple of things. Having a mother who was an alcoholic as well, and he's
Mm.
why would I have this? Of course, now I realize it was a gift because that taught me about patience, that compassion, it taught me
Mhm.
about addiction, compassion, and unconditional love, and it helped me with my work. So
Mhm.
we all go through those things. So they're all
Yeah.
lessons, as you say, Kelly. It's all lessons.
But they're important ones because it's what you just said for your work. And your work here is really to help rise humanity.
Yeah,
It's
and nothing's done by accident. Nothing. I don't believe in
nothing.
accidents at all. You're
Mm-mm.
here, and there's a reason why. Now,
Mhm.
this came up a couple of days. People said, "Well, can you change your soul contract?" I believe
Oh,
there's
yeah.
destiny points, but our
Mhm.
free will can get involved, and our free will, we have the choice to do what we want to do. But I do believe that higher self will guide us, and the more we can listen to
Mhm.
that higher self or intuition, some people call
Right.
it intuition, then we'll be on the path. But free will, for instance, I mentioned this today in my soul care. That if you
Mm.
go to a party and if you drink, and you're drunk as could be, and you drive a car and hit a pole and kill yourself, that was your free will deciding to have that extra drink. See, so
Mm.
it goes back and forth. So
Yeah.
there's certain destiny points, and do you have an expiration date to pass over? You bet you do. You have a time to be born, a time to pass over. That's right,
Yeah.
expiration.
Yeah.
And I love what you say. People just realize it's all lessons. Every person in your life is a
Mhm.
lesson, and if people go and say, "What am I learning from this person? What am I learning from this situation?" Instead of getting judgment, judgment's a waste of time and
Ah,
energy. It's such a waste.
yeah.
Don't get a judgment. Just say, what am I learning from this person? What are they teaching
Mhm.
me? Am I learning self-love? Am I learning boundaries? Like, how is this helping me? What am I learning?
Mhm.
What am I teaching that person? Because I say
Exactly.
every day, people that come on your path is either a student or a teacher.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what I want to say too is when somebody chooses our classes here, so we might choose an abusive father, a very difficult mother, a horrible spouse, or any of that, there will always be, you all put in your plan before you came here, you put in your plan help along the way. So it's your free will whether you want to use the help, don't use the help. I notice as for the work I do as a therapist and a medium, sometimes I get a client and I swear, James, I know that I had an agreement with that soul to help that soul move on to the next where they needed to
Interesting.
be. And I bet you
Interesting.
other mediums feel that way, other
Yeah.
psychics, other
Yeah.
therapists feel that way. There are certain ones, it's not everyone,
It's
but
not I've had that experience. Yeah, it's not everybody, but
not everybody.
you
Oh,
know deep inside you.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very true. Many I've become friends with some of them,
Yeah.
actually, because there's a connection there for sure.
Yeah.
But you do feel
Yes.
a connection. You feel a connection,
Yeah.
and that's true for everybody in life. People come into your life at various times. People come into your life
Mhm.
for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. But you'll get when that one person comes in and changes things up in your life. It makes you think about something in a different way,
Yeah.
puts you in a different position. They are
Mhm.
those key guides of yours, living
Right.
guides that you've agreed to meet up at a certain time in your life to
Right.
push you in a certain direction. No doubt
Right.
about it. We all have them. No
Right.
doubt about it. Living guides.
Absolutely, and it's to give you a different point of view.
That's
I
correct.
love another point of view,
That's right.
no matter
Changing our
what it is.
perspective. That's what it's
Mhm.
about. Changing our perspective.
Right.
I used to. I did a lot of work. I did some work with Michael Newton, who wrote a book, Journey of the
Oh,
Souls, and I've used a lot of his research in my books. And I wanted to read something here from him. It's called "Coming Back to Earth," since that's what we're talking about. So, if I might, once back in the spirit world, souls have misgivings about even temporarily living in a world of self-understanding, camaraderie, and compassion to go to a planetary environment of uncertainty and fear brought about by aggressive, competing humans. Despite having family and friends on Earth, many incarnated souls feel lonely and anonymous among large and personal populations. My research has shown the opposite is true in the spirit world, where our souls are involved in the most intimate sharing on an everlasting basis. So true. I feel that so much
so
inside.
true.
So, so
Yeah.
true. Our spiritual identity is known and appreciated by a multitude of other entities whose support is never ending. The rejuvenation of our energy and our personal assessment of oneself takes longer for some souls than others, but eventually the soul is motivated to start the process of incarnation. Yes, we all have that little.
Yeah.
While our spiritual environment is hard to leave as souls, we also remember the physical pleasures of life on earth with fondness and even nostalgia. When the
Mhm.
wounds of a past life are healed and we are again totally at one with ourselves, we feel the pull of having a physical expression for our identity. Training sessions where our counselors and peer groups, as you just mentioned, Kelly, have
Mhm.
provided collaborative spiritual effort to prepare us for the next life. Our karma of past deeds toward humanity and our mistakes and achievements have all been evaluated with an eye toward the best course for future endeavors. The soul must now assimilate all this information and take purposeful action based on three primary decisions. One, am I ready for a new spiritual life? What specific lessons do I want to undertake to advance my learning and development? Where should I go and who shall I be in the next life with for the best opportunity of growth for all? And that comes up a lot. That comes up a lot in my
Right.
readings. It's come up a lot when they
Yep.
say, I've chose you because I chose this experience. It could help me grow the most having you in life." And I often say, and the spirit world often says, those in your life are the hardest people to get along with are your greatest teachers because they'll teach you things about yourself and levels
Yeah.
about yourself, perspectives about yourself that you might not have known
Right.
before.
Oh, James, that's so true, and that was
Right?
so beautiful what you just read,
Yeah,
and
Michael Newton's, from Coming
wow,
Back to Earth by Michael Newton. Wonderful.
ah,
Check him out, he's
so
great. Journey of the Soul.
wonderful.
And he talks also about before, and I've heard this too, maybe you have as well, Kelly.
Mm,
Before the soul comes back, there's a cleansing. First we pass over, there's a life
mm,
review, and we understand everything we've done. And there's a kind of a rest period for the soul. And they're able to, and this, because there's no time over there, they take as long as they need to. And within the group, and we have guides that are guiding us along the way, but we'll feel when we go have enough, I guess, ready to go back to the
mm,
physical world. Um, I don't know. Sometimes people say, "Why the heck would I come back to this horrible place? It was such a beautiful place. Why would I want to?" Well, when you get to the spiritual world and you realize 60, 70, 80, 90 years in the physical is like a blink of an eye compared to
mm,
eternity. Let's say, I'll take the 90 years. That's really nothing, you know. But
mm,
because, and when we decide to come back, we will meet with our teachers and guides, and we go through all of these preparations, if you will. And then I heard there's a place kind of we go into like Michael Newton describes it as like kind of a hallway, or it's kind of like the
mm,
space that kind of. I got the sense of a septifuge where you spin around and you're cleansed and you get purified and you slowly become. And of course, they're working with
mm,
the mother and and the soul will come back down to the babe to the body
mhm,
and go and 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 this is really interesting. As the soul goes back into the body of the embryo, if you will, they've said to me, and I've read this in many books too, from the months of 7, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9, they come the most. They check things out early on and they give the
mhm,
mother a little intuitive hunch or
mhm,
like, be careful of this and be careful of that. And I've had that experience too. I've been regressed and I've had that experience talking to my mother from inside the
wow,
sac. And it seems about ninth month, we tend to stay in a little bit longer and we have to go through the birth experience, and we do. And it's very interesting. there's a book called Life Between Lives, and the spirits often talk about what the father feels like. First thing they get when they go through the birth canal, they get immediately the father's feeling and the mother's feeling about them right away. If there's regret from the father, if there's regret from the mother, they pick it up right away.
There's actually a therapy here that works with that because the souls that come through that feel that either if it's a negative experience, there's a somatic experience that works with implicit memories. So the babies don't have the words to describe it, but the implicit memories are there. And what you're saying is absolutely accurate. You would feel everything because if you imagine you're coming from this vibration of heaven, this
Heaven,
really
light.
heavenly clear energy, and then to come out into a chaos or a chaotic energy would be really rough for a newborn.
And to feel that the father doesn't really want you, my God,
Oh,
that must stay ingrained within that soul for a
oh,
long time. So
yeah.
imagine these things begin just at the beginning. And the other thing I wanted to point out was many times the soul will go through before they come into the body for the last time, let's say the 9th month or the 10th month, because it goes in and out 9th and 10th. And it goes through, I talked about last week, the soft spot in the head. That's the
Yeah.
last place it comes in. We tend to go through the valley of forgetfulness. And that is where the soul will come into a space, into the body, where they forget everything from their past lives, and
Mm.
anything from the spirit world they will forget. And people say, well, why would God do that? Why would the universe do that? And I say, well, it's about grace, because if we remembered past lives and how we hurt people and destroyed people, we'd be so obsessed with that in this current life, but we wouldn't do the work of this current life. We'd be so obsessed about the past. So in a way, it's grace, that we start with a clean slate.
Well, absolutely. And some of those memories are also held in the subtle bodies, you know.
Correct. Get
So sometimes you can't escape some of the other, what went on in the past. But
and
then you
subtle
come through
body
here
or
to
soul
subtle
memory, right? We call
soul
it same
memory,
soul
same
memory,
thing.
subtle
Yeah.
body. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so true. And a lot of people talk about having let's say, an injury, like in a past life, they got
Yeah.
killed with a sword in the neck, and then they come
Mhm.
back in this lifetime. There's a birthmark there. Those things do
Yeah.
happen. Those
Yeah.
thi- this is something else very trippy, which I'd like to share with you,
Yeah.
Kelly.
Please.
So this is a theory that I have, and I won't know until I pass over either. But there have been times that I think that certain souls will act out at a certain age, whether it's 26 or 32. Something happens to them. And I don't know what, but something happens and it changes them in some way, something pivotal. And I often think that they might have left in a previous lifetime at that particular age, at 26 or 32. And on a soul level, they're kind of remembering that and it comes up again. Isn't that an interesting one?
Okay, I just got chills on that one. That never crossed my mind.
Oh, it didn't. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now I'm
Yeah.
gonna start viewing it's a different point of view for me.
And you might find,
That's
let's say someone was hung in a
really
past
interesting.
life when they were 24, they were hung in a
Mhm.
past life. But you might find in the present life, that person,
Yeah.
that soul, at 24, they might get a rash around their throat. They might have a sore throat suddenly. It's weird.
Yes.
And the correlation, and again, I can't, if the study has been done and research has been, it'd be great research, but only based upon readings I've done over many years has that correlation come through. And I can't say it's an absolute. I just can't say
Right,
it's not because
right.
I don't know, but it's definitely a theory, which I think it's a good theory, because it's to do with soul memory as well and
Mhm.
physicality, and the soul coming through
Gosh.
the physicality of that experience. So an interesting one, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and then I can go a little further and think to myself that perhaps it's because they didn't learn that lesson, whatever that lesson was, and so they have to, have the next experience so they can start to learn that lesson, whatever
It,
that
it,
lesson is.
it could be. I know when I work with a lot of students and they have their throat chakra closed, and we
Yes.
go and I say, "Why is your throat chakra closed?"
Mhm.
Well, in a past life, I know that I was killed for my beliefs, speaking my truth. I
Yeah.
was killed, so in this lifetime, I don't want to speak so much.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
have to heal that
Wow.
wound.
Wow. This is so great. Should we take a call now?
Let's take some calls, please.
Okay. All right, Renee.
Okay, hi.
Hi, Renee.
Yes, hi everyone. Hi Kelly, hi James.
Hi,
Hi.
Renee.
We have, let me see, Darnell. So Darnell, you're
Hi
live?
there.
Hi,
Hi,
Darnell.
Hi
Darnell.
there. Hi,
Hi.
hi, James and Kelly. I had a question, and it was, but the subject you were talking about made me have another question. Um, my first question, I'll make it real quick, was about how kids choose us before we're
Yep.
born.
Yes.
They choose their parents. I mean,
Yes.
is that true?
Very true. Very
Oh,
true.
yeah.
We choose families. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, and then so is our death date predetermined, or is it where the free will comes in? Like, so if we're coming back to life, you said, like living 90 years, but let's say, somebody passes earlier. Do they already know that? I mean, before they come back, they pick their death date.
Well, for number one, think of it this way, Darnell, that, and it's the easiest way to think of this. Shakespeare said the world is really a stage. We're really players upon a stage, which is really true. The earth is a stage, and we're merely players. We're different characters on that stage. And in one lifetime, it might be the mother or the father, and the scenarios, the play will change with this character leaving because this happens. Think of it that way. So, yes, there is an expiration date. There is a time to be born, a time that we will die. And as I said earlier, you have free will to change that if you choose to, but you can never cut school early. So you're going to have to learn those other lessons that you might have left leaving behind. You'll have to learn them somehow, some way, probably back in the physical world. See, and yeah.
And we have several, when we might have one exit point, we might have two, we might have three, we might have four. We really don't know. I mean, I know my brothers had 9. There's no doubt in my mind. And I said to him, you don't have any more left. I mean, there comes a point where that's the date.
And coming back to that exit point, Kellee, what I said earlier about the time when someone left in a past life at a certain age, I think also in the physical world here, besides having that sense of like the sore throat at 24 because they were hung, when someone passed at a certain age in a past life, I think something is remembered that it's an exit point.
Oh,
right?
And so they act out on it.
They act out.
Oh my God! So all you therapists out there, pay attention to that one. That's
what do you
really
think of that,
interesting.
Darnell? You think that makes sense?
No, it does. It makes a lot of sense, and I just so appreciate both of you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
Thanks for calling, honey. Thanks
Thank
for calling.
You. Good night.
Oh my gosh.
All right, good night.
Yeah, let's take another call. But we do pick our own parents, we pick our children, we pick our sibling, we pick everything.
All right. Well, here is Diane. Diane, you're live in the show.
Hi,
Diane.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
My question was around life lessons. So I've had quite a lot of traumas and different kinds of trauma.
Well, you're learning a lot, huh?
And what does that possibly mean? And then something weird too. Another question that would be quick, hopefully. I seem to date truck drivers, although they're very different from each other. They all have the profession of being a truck.
Could be a past life memory of truck driving, no doubt about it. That's what I think. No doubt about it.
You like to travel.
Why talk about the trauma, Kellee? That's an interesting.
Yeah,
I do like to travel.
That would do it probably. So when we have different traumas here, often what will happen until we learn the first lesson of the first trauma, we may continue to have the same trauma. So is the first lesson or the first trauma you had, was it with abuse by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's, that's
a common one, isn't it?
It's a common one. Yeah. So what would happen is what you would be learning in this life would be how to stand up to abuse, how not to take abuse. So let's say you don't quite get that all the way. And then guess what? You get another opportunity to stand up on your own and to either, fight it, walk away, learn about it, learn self-respect, self-honor. These are the kind of things that you would have come in. May I have your birthday out of curiosity? Diane, what's your birthday?
November 11th.
Okay. So that's an 11/11.
Scorpio, yeah.
Yeah. And 11/11 comes in immediately. I know that they come in for deep life lessons. Anytime there's an 11 anywhere present in a birth date, they come in for deep life lessons. And so sometimes you will find more trauma in that life. On the other side, you would have planned for different teachers, if you will, to come into your life until you learn what you were supposed to learn. That's a deep one. That's a deep life.
And you learn the most from those deep lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And your Scorpio would go for the deepest lessons, let me tell you. Scorpio
the deepest, James.
You don't want to be bored. Diane, you do not want to be bored. You do not want to be bored. You like excitement. You like adventure. And you have to have it in life, too. And, It depends also, Diane, and I think this is really helpful to everybody. Again, let's look at that perspective of what we're looking at here. We can look at things as trauma and negative things. Yes, they can be negative, but look at the bigger picture. These are lessons for our soul to learn. So what am I learning from this trauma? What am I learning? We have to always ask ourselves. We don't want to be a victim. We want to be better than the victim. We want to stand up for ourselves. Yeah?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, sweetheart. Lots of love,
Thank you.
sweetie. Thanks, Diane. Okay.
Thank
Next.
you. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
You're welcome. Next caller. Interesting.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Liz, you're live in the show.
Hi,
Hello?
Kelly and James. It's Lizette.
Hi,
Oh,
Lizette.
hi,
How are
Lizette.
you,
Thank you so
honey?
much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, it's going like in and out. Well, first of all, love your show,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I just wanted to say that I believe I've mentioned this before. When I was younger, I used to see myself on a mountain with an Indian, and now through my paintings, there are Indians coming through. I just painted my fourth one. I've never painted with red because it just doesn't call my attention. And when I did, it looks like, and Jeff saw this as well, that an axe was taken to the Indian's head.
Oh, wow.
So
Interesting.
it's just amazing how, like, things are starting to connect.
Lizette, I've also heard before, Lizette, and I've heard this like years ago, and Kelly, I don't know if you've ever heard this, therapy, past life traumatic therapy, past life can be done through painting. You have to do past life regression, just doing it, verbally, but through painting, they say also you can, in the paintings will past life experiences, traumas, and past life lessons can be learned or experienced or looked at and healed. So that's maybe something you're getting involved in, which I would not be surprised at all.
Oh, at all, Lizette. You're a natural healer.
I mean, yeah. So it's exciting. My God.
Very exciting. And it may be your spirit guide.
Lizette, maybe you should do a series.
Maybe.
Let me throw something at your head because I know you're so good at this. Think about this. Maybe you should do a series of paintings, and I don't want you to overthink it. Okay, I don't want you to overthink it. What I want you to do is, however you work, having I'm just saying the brush and paper, whatever, however you go through it, just why don't you do a series called Past Life Series. Okay, and each painting will be a different life, but you're not going to go and think, I got to do this lifetime. I just want you to sit there, put yourself in like an altered state, and just start painting from your soul. And you're not going to even think of a past life, but that's going to be the name of the series, Past Life Series, and see what comes up. I'll bet you have some great stuff, Lizette.
That's a great idea. Great idea.
Well, thank you so much, because that is a phenomenal idea. I've been looking for what to name my paintings as I'm opening up the website. Now, when I paint, it's a pouring technique, so I don't use any paintbrushes. I'm merely just a conduit. So the spirit works through me and onto the canvas. And so without any expectations, all I do is move the canvas paint around. So whatever comes about, and sometimes it doesn't reveal itself at the moment. It may be a month later that I can actually see what's coming through.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's great. You should also, Lizette, look up chalk writing, slate writing. In the early days of spiritualism, they used to have slate writing. Kids in school used to be slates, right?
Yeah.
Chalk slates, 2 slates, and they put the slates together, a piece of chalk in between them, and put them together and leave them. And then during a seance, the spirit person would come in and write write a word, a sentence, and later they'd see if the manifestation happened. I bet if you did that, maybe put 2 or 3 around and just leave them there, and for a month, see what happens after a month time. You might get something. They could use you. The spirit world can use you. They can use you, and I think they want to use you in those ways. Those creative ways that most people don't, because you're very mediumistic, but they want to use you in that another mediumistic way, which is through the art, through word, and I think those 2 ways. I think you'll keep on doing it, Lizette. Keep in touch, Lizette.
Love you, Lizette. You're terrific.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
and I have to thank you so much. And I must say that my cat just loves you guys. All week long, I was just like, wee! So when he heard you, he immediately did an about face and jumped on my desk.
Thanks.
He's like glued right now.
Put a jingle of Play the jingle of the show every day. The cat will go crazy.
I will.
Thanks,
Oh, my
sweetheart. Nice
God.
to hear from you, honey.
Thank you so much. And God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
I want to answer. There's a question here from Joe Mack, and it's a good question. She says, so do we come back at different months? Meaning, if we say we're born in January, then the next lifetime is in February? Such a great question.
I
You have
had that
something
today in my soul care. What do you think,
said.
Kelly?
Well, here's what happens.
Being an astrologer.
Yeah, here's what happens. You are planning with your soul group and your spirit guide, and you're planning, and you've attended this class and this class, and you guys all come to some place of that this date and this month is the best. So it may not be January, February, March. It might be all of a sudden you move up to Sagittarius and you move up to December 4th because you need to learn more about yourself. Or it depends on what it is that your life lesson is in this time. So it doesn't have necessarily an logical order to it.
I think it depends on the lessons that you're learning. Because, for instance, if you're learning about security and responsibility, you'll come back as a Capricorn.
Absolutely, 100%.
Right? If you want your freedom, independence, and thinking about things, it becomes Aquarius. So it depends on the type of lessons that you're learning. I think that denotes what kind of sign you're going to get involved in. That's when the mystics up there, the guides and wisdom, the wise ones put that together, the charts together.
Yeah, and those are big hints. When people say, what's my soul purpose? Look at astrology. Look at your chart. Look at your destiny card for that day, which tells you every day that there's a certain purpose for every day. Look up your numerology. All of those are hints along the way, so you'll start to know who you are. Know thyself is everything.
Right. And what's your passion? So, limit it to 5 things. What are your really passionate about that you want to experience before this lifetime is over? That, that could be your sole purpose. I know my sole purpose. And, in the beginning of life, things change as you're in your teens or your 20s, your adult, things will change. Your purpose will kind of change a little bit. I always knew I was going to help people. I thought I was going to be a priest, and I thought I was going to be an actor or a writer, but I always would be before people. And I always knew I'd be helping people in some way. Before people, I knew I'd be well known ever since I was 3 years old. Well known. I just knew it. I knew it. I knew I lived in California. Now I didn't know what California was, but I heard the word California. I'm going to live there one day. I was 3 years old, and I knew I was going to be helping people in some way. I thought it would be the priesthood. And then I thought of acting or writing, and it was writing, and mediumship before the public. I never would have probably done this if I knew I was going to be doing it. So
Well, isn't that the truth, though?
Oh yeah, I would never in my life have chosen this. It's a tough.
Not easy. It's a tough one.
It's really tough.
If somebody said this to me, I would have been shocked.
And when I first came out, on the skeptics, I ran into Michael Shermer before on the internet. All these different skeptics. When I first came out with all this, they were getting me left and right. The skeptics. And how about having people invalidate you every minute of the day, saying you're not real, you're not this. Who are you?
How did you do that? What was your strength? Really, I'd like to know.
I think that strength came from when I knew who I was, when I had that sense of standing up for myself when I was a young kid. And the lady that helped me, Connie Lee, my adopted mother, that I really helped me to really acknowledge who I was and that I was a special person inside of me. I'm a good person. And she helped to bring that out from me. And that inner strength that she gave me, she just lit that candle. And I had this. I was something important. There was something I had to get a message out. I had to get something out, and I didn't know what it was going to be, Kelly. Maybe in acting, I didn't know, but I had to express myself. I have 4 planets in Leo, so I had to express myself. And I think I was so involved with mediumship, and I saw the results and that energy of love that's so strong that you can heal people, and that result of giving someone a reading and it really changes their life. That's what pushed me on and forward. There's nothing greater. And to have some strangers say, "You don't do that." Like, what are you talking about? You don't want to know what energy I'm dealing with. What world are you talking about? So I knew the truth. I knew myself. I knew the truth. I knew the word. I knew the energy. And that's really, nobody can deny that. When you know who you are and you know what you're doing, you got to be true to yourself. And I always was. And that's it.
It took a lot of courage, James.
Guts and courage. But again, lifetimes, I think, of learning courage, lifetimes of putting myself out there, and lifetimes of killing people to come back and learn karma. Now, why do I say that? Because, oops. This is interesting because I was wondering. I once was with Dr. Brian Weiss, past life regressionist, and we did a show together. And he said to the audience, and I was in the audience, and he said to everybody, ask whatever you want as I count you back, and I count you back. Ask what you would like to know about. I thought, well, I don't know if it's going to work for me, but I want to. Why did I come back as a medium? And why would I come back to be a well-known medium on television, be ridiculed? Why would I do this and meet millions of people? And I don't even want to be on television. Why would I? Millions of people. And what happened was one of the most profound experiences of my life. I saw myself standing there, and I had my mustache and my blue eyes, and I was a general in the Prussian War, in this Civil War, in this Russian War, and another. I was always a general, and the uniform is always changing. My eyes, my mustache, always the same. The uniform changed, and all of these wars, I was a general, and I was always in charge to tell when my men went to go in and kill people. So I've been through all of these many, many wars, and I had to come back this time to heal millions of lives because I was responsible for killing millions. I come back this time to heal millions.
That's
And that
amazing.
makes sense. That makes sense to me. That
Totally. Well, not only that, but that's where you would get the courage.
and that's courage. Yeah, there's a courage.
That's
That's right.
it's unbelievable story.
It's an
But it
unbelievable
makes
story.
but it makes sense.
Yeah, it
Wow.
makes sense. And then, of course, I'm very obsessed with World War II. I was very obsessed with Auschwitz, and my roommate's obsessed with Auschwitz, and I know I lived in Germany. I know it, and it's interesting because I had a dream once, and it was twilight when you're just about to wake up, and I remember there was a man across the street, 1938, and cobblestone street. He was in a suit and an overcoat and a hat, and I was on the other side dressed the same way, and he was a friend. And I said, I got to go now, and he goes, okay, we'll see you. Hi, Hitler. And I went, hi. Oh, I can't say that anymore. And I woke up.
Oh
And
my God.
and
Yikes.
weirdly enough, 50 of my relatives died in Auschwitz, Van Praag's.
Oh my gosh.
And I visited their, where they visited their memorial, and we have a memorial in Israel. Yeah, so you never know the different roles you play. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I say God gives us grace, because if we realize we killed our relatives or we did something, imagine we'd be so horrified in this life we wouldn't continue our work here.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Some more calls, eh?
Yes.
All right, so ready for another call?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is Melissa. Melissa, you're live in the show.
Hello.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
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 You have a question?
I'm so happy to get through to you guys.
Oh, thanks for calling.
I thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to know about my life's purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing here. I have inclinations of what I'm supposed to be doing, but
when's your birthday?
it gets confusing at some point. I'm sorry?
When's your birthday?
March 14th.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just start here. March 14th. And what is the year?
1973.
Okay. So let me just start with March 14th is a 9 of diamonds. And a 9 of diamonds comes in to end things of value. They come in to be a philanthropist, actually. They come in to help others in a way that will help value. You would come in to end a soul cycle. And this soul cycle is about values. What do you value? You will always probably feel that you give more than you ever get back. And that was set up intentionally.
Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I get a
that
sense
makes
also,
a lot of
Melissa,
sense.
and part of what I'm picking up here is that you have a hard time balancing the sensitivity with the left brain and the right brain, the details, the black and white, and then the sensitivity. Yeah, that's almost sometimes they fight each other. It's like double-edged sword. And you got to realize that you are a sensitive Pisces. You're a sensitive, but within that sensitivity, it doesn't have to take you away. You can have that sensitivity, and also the black and white, the work ethic, and so forth. You can do that. That's part of you as well. So having the both of them, integrating that together, could do really, really well. You're meant to have money in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you do or not, but you're meant to have money. You're meant to be. You're meant to have money in this lifetime, as far as your needs will be taken care of. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then giving that money away.
We're not struggling, but
and then helping others.
You will help others, and like Kellee said, you're giving it away. You'll get the money to help others and give it away because you're an old soul, Pisces. You're an old soul.
Yeah.
But you don't have to struggle, and you don't have to suffer. Just want you to know that. So let's get that out of
Mhm.
your consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You have to have-
Yeah. I
sh-
understand. Yeah.
Okay. And just,
Can I just ask about my son? He's having a
Sure.
really hard time. He has anger issues. Can you tell me anything about his
What is his
future? Is he
what's
going to
his
be okay?
birthday? What is his birthday?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What is
His
his
birthday.
His
birthday?
birthday is November 27th, 2007.
Okay, 11/27. Oh, he's got to, yeah, he comes
I'm
into
just
work with,
Sagittarius.
yeah, he comes to work with emotions. Emotions and family balance are really important to him. He may not know it right now. He actually comes in for some success, but it's very important that he gets in touch with his emotions. So is he about 9, 10, 11 right now?
He's getting ready to turn 13 on
Oh,
Friday.
13. Okay, on 13 on Friday. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, he's got maybe find him a good therapist if you can do that. He's got to work on
Yes.
emotions.
I you know what? I'm a double,
Yes,
quadruple
ma'am.
what Kelly said. He needs a therapist right now, only because it's going to get worse if it doesn't get
Mhm.
better. I just see that it's really a pivotal moment, and I really believe this is the reason you called, because it's a pivotal moment. Because I feel at the age of 19, if things are taken care of right now, there's going to be a separation between you and him. There's going to be some kind of a separation, and he likes his freedom.
At the
I
age of 19?
Yep. Yep. And I'm just going to tell you right
Okay.
now that if you could just, and I don't know, honey, I don't know how you're going to do this, but again, therapy would really help. But I want you to kind of, how is your relationship right now? Is he pushing you away? Are you together? Is he showing his
I
independence?
mean, I'm his mom. He lives in my house, and I try very hard with him. I show a lot of affection, but he does push me away. He gets very
Push you-
angry at me.
Okay. Is there some way, instead of like finding out what he likes to do and joining him in what he likes to do, is some, I don't know, what his hobbies are, or wants to go see, he can go see a movie with them, or can you do some fun stuff with him? Would he be open to that or no?
Yeah, he used to play football. He doesn't want to do anything anymore. He
I
gave
would love
up
for
on
you.
everything he likes.
I would love for you and him to get into projects together. Anything that could bring you two closer together. And you got to, if you could do this, sweetheart, try this. Please try this. Try to do something where you give trust to him, that he knows that you're trusting him with something. And it's a big deal, whatever it is, and you're trusting him. Maybe it's a project you do together, but you're trusting him to do this. And if you can give him that trust, I'm going to tell you, and he will follow through, because he wants that trust from you. He wants you to love him, and he can do it. There's part of him that doesn't believe that you fully believe in him. There's something there. But if you get some kind of a project, you know what I'm saying, where that you give him the trust to finish the project, or something simple.
Yeah.
I'm not saying something like bringing the money to the bank and put it in the bank, whatever. It's something where you give him a lot of trust, and you're going to push that,
Uh-huh.
and let him do that. I think that's going to really help. I think you need to gain that relationship with him on a trusting level. And a lot of parents become friends with their children, which is not always the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But in this case, I would love for you to be on that level with him, because I want him to trust and know that you're his mom and you just love him, and he might put you in. And you remember, he's 13. He started that teenage year, that rebellion type of thing. But try to get in there on a level with him, and the trust is really important, and therapy is important. Okay.
Okay.
And even
Yes, that
therapy
makes sense.
together
Thank
with
you
you
so
too.
much.
That was
I
a great
Therapy
appreciate it.
idea.
together.
Yeah.
Together would be great too. Okay. Thanks, sweetheart.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
All
Great
right.
idea.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Kelly just comes in my head.
Which I love it that it does. I think that's
They
great.
just feed it to me, because I can see that really clearly. And it's interesting, when you speak first, it gives me time to just chat. They just use me like that. It's great.
Perfect. I love it, love it, love it. Should we take another call?
Of course.
Okay.
Okay, Lisa, you're live in the studio.
Hi,
Hi, Lisa. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm okay. I'm glad I got to talk to you. I've had a rough year. I've had 3 family members pass away since February,
Oh.
but by far the most traumatic was my son.
Oh.
And I don't.
And how old was he when he passed over?
25.
And 25. And was it an accident he passed with?
We don't know if it was homicide or accidental.
And was it drugs involved?
Yes.
Okay. And was he with friends before this happened? And was it
So-called friends.
And did you find him in the bedroom?
Yes, he was found in a bedroom.
Okay. He's around. He's here. And he didn't mean this to happen, so I say it's accidental. From his point of view. Now, when you say homicide, do they mean if someone gave him drugs that killed him? Is that what they're thinking?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I just know it's not his fault. He's telling me it's not his fault. Does he have an older brother?
No, he does not.
Who's his older brother feeling like? Who's a friend who's older? Who's a guy that's older, tall, a tall guy, older, maybe a couple of grades older, maybe a couple of years older, 27 or I don't know. Just was he at college or was he just finishing college or what? Did not go to college?
No. He had several friends that passed away from the same reason.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I can't think
there's
of
a guy
anyone.
around. There's a guy. He's tall and he's skinny. He has tattoos around his arm. I don't know the name like Mickey or Mikey or something like this, but wears a hat backwards. He must have been in that group of people. There were a group of people he hung out with. I got to tell you that. And I think that they hung out with, this is really interesting, in the backyard or back garage of a friend's house. Would you know about that? Hanging out in the back garage or wait in the back of a house. Would you know about that?
I don't know if I would know the specifics
Okay.
of that. No.
And around you, is there country? Are you in a country area or is it a city? I think it's country, isn't it?
Yes, that's where we. That's where he grew up in the country.
Okay. I just want to say I know the country plays, but when in his 20s here, is he still in the country? Are you still living in the country or are you in the city now?
I moved to the city.
Okay. So I just want to go to the country for some reason. I don't know why I'm out there. There must have been a place that maybe it was a park that he hung out with some friends. There must have been a park. I see green everywhere, like green grass or meadows. I'm seeing that. So he must have hung out there. And was the Saturday night involved?
Yes, it was Saturday.
Okay.
Well, he was found on a Saturday, but he passed 2 days before that.
I got to tell you that I feel that it could be Wednesday night even. I feel that it was not his fault. And was it a homicide? I think there are kids there. I think they're all. Were needles involved? Were there syringes?
Yes, there were.
Okay, I think somebody was mixed in the syringe that was wrong. So maybe too much. I don't know. The
Yep.
kids did heroin and whatever that other drug is. They're doing fentanyl or whatever the hell it is. But
No.
I think that it was almost a feeling of a Russian roulette type of thing. It's really weird. But I think of that dose they gave him. I don't think they meant to kill him. I do not think so. I think it was totally accidental. That's what he's telling me. He's an accident. He gives me the feeling he doesn't feel happy. He doesn't feel happy. He doesn't feel happy how things went down. And he said, "Mom, I want you to know, he wants you to see the happy part of him, not that depressed, sad part of him that you saw the past 3 years of his life." Does that make sense?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
Okay. And he said, I was depressed. My skin color changed. I was lonely by myself. I was in my own depression, like 3 years of it. And he said, please think of him when he was younger, like when he was 18 and 16, 17, when dad was proud of me. I was proud of mom. We had a great time. Is there a sister he had? Is there another sibling at all?
Yeah, he has an older and a younger sister.
Is there an older? I want to go to the older. I mean, the younger sister. He wants me to tell me he's close to her. He's close to her, and she sees him or talks to him now, and she's able to bring him through. So you and her should sit together and speak to him. Okay. And is there anyone named Danny or Dan or David, Danny, Davy, like this name? Write it down if you don't know it now, because you probably will later. Anyway, where he hung out with those group of people that he was with, he said, they're the ones that were pushing this stuff. They all were there. And I got it behind something. I'm behind something, behind a building. There's a field, there's a meadow, there's a park. But the people he was hanging out with, they know about this. I think that the younger sister might know some of them, some of the group he used to hang out with. Anyway, that's what I got from him. You can talk to him. You and your daughter can talk to him, he said. He sees her all the time. She sees him, but she doesn't think she does. but she does. And it's in the bedroom, and there's a chair in her bedroom. There's a chair in her bedroom where she throws her clothes, and he sits on that chair all the time.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Okay.
All right, my love. There you go. Good luck, sweetheart. God bless you, honey.
Much.
Our thoughts are with you.
Yeah. And we should say too that when a soul passes over in that way, they do get healing on the other side.
Oh,
There's
without
a
a doubt.
wonderful facilities that they go to where their souls are nourished again and healing and all kinds of love and healing that goes on. So
And most times, again, I didn't know this, Kelly, till I think last year, that when they're met for a situation like an accidental overdose, which is this is, they'll be met not only by family members and helpers, but people that come to get them, service workers, we like to call them, are those who have passed over in the same way. So they know how to receive them. They know their mindset. So they know how to behave with them. And have you heard that before, Kelly?
never.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
A good
you
one.
for that one.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah. Last year they gave this to me, like, what? Sure enough. And those people, and it makes total sense that they would go bring them in because they have the same mindset. So they know exactly what that soul is going through. And they'll bring them to the right, and they'll become their counselors. They'll help them. It's kind of like an intervention. It's kind of like a rescue. It's the rescue team, if you will. Home rescue. And that makes sense. And it's military. It's people die with heart attacks. It's suicides. There's a whole suicide teams that come and meet those who pass over that way. And a lot of drug overdoses, because we've had a surge of them before the past 10 years. So they've had a lot of these, I call them rescue teams of the overdoses. And I see a lot of young teenagers, 17 to 30, and they're in these groups and they come rescue those because there's a lot of, you can imagine how many. And that's part of their, I guess we want to say penance. They give back. It's their way of helping. So that happens quite a bit.
So then begs the question, are there COVID teams?
Oh, there are COVID teams. And I actually did 3 readings in the past several months where they said, we passed with COVID and we're here to help you. And it's really interesting. It's so interesting because not only COVID, we could say, but other ways of passing too. If you think about it, I can't say the word I want to say, but it's a mind twist, if you will.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like when you're a dream and you think, am I dreaming? Is this real? Am I dreaming? Like yesterday I told you I woke up and I thought, oh my God, I got it ready. I got to do yoga at 11 o'clock. It was 9:30. I got to feed the dog. And I called my sister Catherine and I said, Dana's going to be here. And she said, no, it's Sunday. And I said, it's Sunday. I felt like I felt like Monday. She goes, no, it's Sunday. So it's that strange thing in your mind where you feel like your mind, you're walking, you're not in the right place, and you're really in a real world. It's a very solid world, and you see the ones you loved. And it's like, and I've had thousands of times spirits come back and say, I feel like I'm in a dream. I feel like I'm in a dream. It's so real. It's so real, and it is real. It is real, but it screws around us because we come from that physical vibration. Our mind is full of those memories of the physical, and suddenly we're out of the physical. And many times it takes a spirit to go to their memorial service to believe that they're dead.
Imagine that one.
That happens quite a bit. I've heard that many a time. So because it's so natural. It's such a natural transition. Death is COVID. People pick COVID. People pick their groups. Soul groups that pick this. Many times I think some certain souls will pick a certain situation for a karma, not only for themselves, but the larger group, the larger humanity at one. And I can say that World War II, the camps, I think those are evolved souls that chose that take that on to free up, if you will, negative karma from the world, because we got to realize there's a lot of negative karma that created the world, and sometimes souls will sacrifice themselves to alleviate some of that karma.
Well, we should talk about that on another show because I believe that because 9/11, I feel that 100%. But we'll talk about that
one. That's a good topic.
That's a good one.
Another question. Oh, we're ready to go.
I think we're ready. We're
God, that goes fast. Okay,
it's so fast. But now I want everybody to have a great Thanksgiving. I know that a lot of you will be alone. As I said the other day in my show, I said, think of the best Thanksgiving you ever had and put that memory in your heart, whatever it was, put it in your heart.
I like to live it out. So I'm going to have a table and it's going to be all set and I'm going to have everything and I'm going to have nobody there physically, but it's going to be people that my family who's in New York, or I'm just going to have it. And I won't go as far as dishing food out, but I do that a lot. I do that a lot. And I do that a lot when I'm by myself and their spirit is around me. And I talk to them because they hear us. So you're never alone, ever alone.
Never.
But I think for Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and create a gratitude list. A gratitude list on Thanksgiving Day. Great thing to do. Have gratitude. We're here and we're together and we're sharing the space. And thank you, everybody. Thanks, Kellee.
Thanks everybody. And before I forget, one more last thing. If you want to do Bad Dads, it's December 5th, and we have a Black Friday sale going right now. I think it's $29.95 for December 5th for the webinar with Dr. Shirley, Bad Dads. If you've had a bad dad, that's the one for you.
But I've forgiven my dad. Okay.
And you're going to do a meditation for us.
Meditation, that's right.
This is perfect. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Yes, and see you next week. I'll be at Soul Care on Monday, so see everybody then. Okay. All right.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.